You're listening to the On Call Empath Show.
All right, we're back for another awesome episode of the Elite Series. My good friend, Dr. Danielle Clark, is here back from the other episodes that I had with her, but this one is the Elite Series because she's really good at what she does. She's a psychic medium, business professor, and a storyteller. And we're going to dig into mediumship and answer all your questions, the myths, the basically for empaths and highly sensitive people, but anyone that's out there that's might be going through a lot, but you have a little bit of skepticism, or you don't know about mediumship, and in your mind it comes to you and you're not sure what it is. Well, today we're going to tackle all the myths, and I want to introduce one of my good friends, Dr. Danielle. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Grateful. I'm grateful. I'm excited. I'm energized.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since I seen you, and you've been through quite a lot, and your business has been growing. And right now you are doing more mediumship work. Can you explain, before we even get started, what does that entail, and what do you exactly do?
Yeah, sure. So as it relates to mediumship, I connect to the departed. I connect to lost loved ones in spirit, and so every medium works a little differently. I have a way of opening myself up to them, and they drop in ideas and pictures and feelings to me. So that way I can act as almost a translator to my client, and I can give the stories and the feelings and the evidence that their loved ones still with us, and through that journey, get the chance to give people hope and healing and forgiveness, whatever they might be searching for from their loved one on the other side.
That's awesome. And like, for people that are listening out there, empaths, highly sensitive people that have been through trauma, maybe they lost a loved one. So you deal with all of that. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of skeptics that are tuning in, and I want you guys to just give it a chance. And I'm going to let Dr. Danielle kind of explain this exactly. What are you able to provide, and can you debunk some of the myths that are out there? Because some people, I get it. It's like woo woo. I've tried that. I went to psychics before. Is that what this is? I want you to tell me by your own words, and especially a lot of your clients that swear by you, like what kind of things do you actually help with? If, like, let's say I came to you and I'm dealing with all kinds of losses or a divorce, or a death, how can you help that person?
Good questions. A few things that I'll mention. One, if there's a skeptic out there, I'm going to say good. We should be skeptical. We should be curious. We should have our guards up. I was skeptical. I'm not a born medium. My gifts, if you'll call them that, just recently, within the last few years, opened up. I have past trauma. I have just a really rough story, at-risk kid, neglectful parents. I believe that those experiences helped to build my empathy, which then later on in my life today helped me to be able to open up a little bit further, is really how I'm going to refer to it. And so I've been able to take my empathy, and through experiences that have happened to me metaphysically, and also just learning, I've been able to open up to the other side. So I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. So psychic means I can tap into the energies of a situation. So if there's a divorce, if there's a career change, if somebody's struggling with something that's happened in the past, I can kind of feel into it and intuitively know what energy is there, what's stuck, what might needs to be considered, what good energy might be out there if certain steps were being taken. So I'm going to give that to you. When I say psychic, I'm not going to give you the winning lottery numbers. I don't know that, right? It's the energies that I work with. And then as a medium, the healing that I can give is directly giving guidance from your lost one, lost loved one in spirit. And I'm what's called an evidential medium. So it would be black and white facts. I have a grandmother here. She seems to have a big nose. She's smoking cigarettes and she's at the casino a lot. Would you understand this? And then my client's going to say, oh my gosh, that's Grandma Judy. She loved being at the casino. She did. She had a big nose. And so I continue to give evidence so that way there is no confusion on what I'm saying, if it exists or doesn't. I can share memories that are special that might only be between that person and the departed to kind of validate the situation.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I think you described it as a dark night that you had.
Yes.
And just to put in context, you guys, I'm going to have her explain this story because it really like kind of resonated with me, and it kind of makes sense. Like I know a lot of personally, I know psychic mediums where they have gone through like dark stages in awakening, if you want to call it that, and then they get all, you know, this calling to help people, and that's kind of what you're doing. But if you could kind of explain the dark night story to our audience, and then they'll kind of get some context and where all of this is originated from.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So before my dark night of the soul, I wasn't spiritually linked in. Maybe I had some intuitive abilities and was an empath, but definitely not linked in. I lost my job unexpectedly, and that was the hardest thing that has ever happened to me. I've been sexually abused, I've been physically abused, I've been emotionally abused, and losing my job was the hardest. And it took me a while to realize why, because I was financially secure, I had a loving family. But what I had learned was there was so much ego and identity wrapped into that job. It was the way that I coped with my trauma. It was escapism. I'm going to be important. I'm going to show the world that I matter through my job. And so once my job was gone, I was faced with reality that I had major self-esteem issues, that I wasn't giving myself and the relationships the love and care that it needed. And so by losing this job, I was thrown into, yes, what I'll refer to as like a spiritual awakening, kind of a period in my life. And I couldn't even explain it at first. I was so depressed, but I just craved spiritual material. I started reading books about mediums, and I didn't know what the connection was between losing my job, right, and trying to heal my trauma and mediumship. And it took a while, but what I realized once I started taking care of myself and mending my heart and mending the past was that my soul then was ready for the next step. And so I started seeing signs and synchronicities from the universe. I'd see like license plates with certain numbers that I had never seen before. One number, 438, which was my dad's phone number.
Wow.
And I just started having like really, interesting things happen that couldn't be explained in a logical way. And so I leaned into it. I started learning energy work. I got trained in integrated energy therapy and Reiki,
Wow.
started going to meditation circles, and just kind of continued to put myself in that. But the long and the short of it is, with the dark night of the soul, was it was dark, it was scary, and it hurt. But once I did the hard healing, my abilities to connect with the other side opened up.
Very interesting. And I've had a lot of episodes, and I've had healers. I've had maybe one or two like intuitives, but not where you get a psychic in it and somebody who's intuitive like what you have. Like you have like best of both worlds. So I'm going to throw you a curveball here and a scenario for those skeptics that are listening, whether you're empaths, highly sensitive person, or you're going through some sort of trauma. I want you guys to really tune into this part. So I come to you and I'm just going through hell in my life. My job sucks. I have a narcissist husband or a wife. Money is not coming in. And I see all this stuff on the internet and social media where I've tried, mediumship. I've called the 800 number and it just wasn't clicking. What makes you differently, and how would you handle somebody coming to you with that type of trauma, whether it's husband, wife, narcissism, family abuse? Because right now, even with Thanksgiving and all these holidays that are coming up, with COVID just kind of still in the background, people are still looking for help. How
Yes.
can you help them?
So good questions. How I'm different? Well, definitely my background. So this is a no judgment zone. I've been down dark alleys, and some of them I've been pushed down. Some of them I've walked down myself. I know self-sabotage. I know addiction, both personally and professionally. Right. I know neglect. And so the life experiences that I understand both personally and professionally shape the way that I'm able to counsel and give guidance. It really shapes my understanding of a situation. If someone's skeptical, it's like put your toe in the water. Maybe it's not a session right away.
Right.
Maybe it's read a book about mediumship. Maybe it's go to a larger event, right? And just kind of see how it feels. I'm definitely not here to persuade anyone.
Right.
But I do, if I always start off my sessions with anyone, whether it's for intuitive guidance and or mediumship, and I just say, hey, like I'm linking with the universe for whatever reason. If I can't link, it's a reschedule or it's a refund. Like there's no pressure of money, and that's what I do, because I'm human. I might have an off day. I don't fully understand how this whole universe thing works. Maybe I can't link with someone, but usually that doesn't happen. I actually now that I'm thinking, I can't think of any time that I wasn't able to get a meaningful connection with someone in spirit or
Right.
advice. But yeah, everyone's going to do what feels right. And I would say, just like going to the hairdresser, it doesn't mean someone's good or not good. They just might not be good for you. So it needs to be like an energetic connection is what I'm saying. That's the biggest advice I'd give your listeners, whoever you're working with, whether it's an energy healer, whether it's a therapist. It's got to jive, and hopefully getting to know me kind of helps people decide, like, is she someone that feels right to me? Yeah.
I mean, the empaths that are listening, especially the ones that I coach, a lot of them will say they will feel certain things. Sometimes they can identify with animals. They can identify with things. They'll have flashes before they happen, or they'll have a dream before it happens. So this is all fine, like fascinating to me. Even like life after death stuff that I've had. I had one client tell me that they felt like something bad was going to happen, and it happened. Now, whether it was coincidence or not, but I do feel like empaths, if anybody on this planet, or HSPs, they would be more prone to kind of be more in tune with their feelings. So they're listening right now and they want to kind of go towards what you're doing. What kind of tips would you be able to tell them to explore more of the metaphysical? Because let's face it, I mean, I've encountered some things that I can't explain myself, which I talk about all the time on this podcast. But sometimes I'll just write it off like, okay, I keep seeing 333. I keep seeing 111. Great. These are great numbers. But then I started to really focus and learn about what numerology, and I've had a couple people talk about cards and stuff. So I'm not so like big on it, because I'm not like, I don't think I'm educated to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think that's a lot of people that are listening, they can probably relate with, like, yeah, I do see a certain number all the time when I'm driving, or I'll see a license plate, or I'll see like a truck and they'll have something on it. And then all of a sudden that will come true, like something symbolic to that. So what can you tell to somebody who is intuitive, but they just not sure, like what can they do to kind of sharpen that? Because empaths already have a certain amount, and you're an
Yes.
empath, so I think you know what I'm talking about. But we have that gift inside of us. How can we like tweak it a little bit, not to be psychics, but just to kind of protect our energies, especially from trauma and narcissist abuse and all that kind of jazz? Like, how can we put an energy level and make sense of all of this?
Yeah, I love that. So many things to consider.
Yeah.
A journal is really important, because you then start to understand the symbols, the synchronicities, the feelings more. And I would say write everything down. Write everything down. Anything you're feeling, anything, even if you're quick to say, oh, but maybe that's just a coincidence, because once you have some data, you can kind of go back and say, gosh, I see a red cardinal every time I'm thinking about grandpa, right? Or right before something happens, I see 111. So journaling is really good because our logical minds need validation, right?
Hmm.
We don't do well when there's the unknown. So
Hmm.
that's a good way to get validation. Even just staying open, right? I mean, those listening to the podcast
Hmm.
today, right? Read an article that maybe you wouldn't normally read
Hmm.
that's about the metaphysical, right? Read a book that you normally wouldn't. But I would say for those who genuinely want to be more open and understand themselves, sometimes it's removing all other stimulation from your world. So sometimes it's just sitting in meditation and honoring your intuition or honoring what comes into your mind. Like sometimes it's the opposite. It's like turn the radio off, right? Turn the podcasts off, and just get quiet with yourself. For me, the hardest part about my journey, into this psychic mediumship world was trusting and surrendering, like not second guessing. Oh, am I really seeing that? Am I really feeling that? It's like, no, I trust and surrender. I believe that what I'm seeing is this and what I'm feeling is this. And that takes work. It's a journey, and find a partner to play with, right? Like if you're an empath and you want to understand if you're reading somebody's feelings the right way, if you're reading a situation the right way, if maybe you can pick up on things energetically,
Hmm.
find someone to play with. Be like, hey, can we just do a test session together, right?
Hmm.
Pick your sister-in-law, pick your friend, because then you're going to get the validation too. Oh my gosh, how did you know I had a headache earlier, right? How did you
Yeah.
know that I have a headache now? And then you'll start to better understand your gifts. But they're all different. Some of us can feel,
Hmm.
some of us kind of know things, right? Some of us have the premonition. So I think it's also honoring
Yeah.
like what gift you have, and not trying to like
Yeah.
force yourself to be anywhere. But heal is the message of today,
Hmm.
because I would never be where I am today if I didn't do the hard work and help my trauma heal, because you're never going
Yeah.
to see those signs. You're never going to get that love. You're never going to trust yourself if you have all that
Hmm.
toxicity in there from trauma that's not
Hmm.
healed.
And you certainly deserve it. I mean, you guys, she went from a GED to being a doctor. Like, come on, you don't hear that every day. And just just putting it in that context. I mean, I think it was like 5% of people, they don't ever get past, you know, college after getting a GED.
Yeah.
I mean, you put in the work. So you definitely, I mean, I feel comfortable talking to you, and I can definitely say to people that are listening, definitely give yourself a chance. But I do want to cover one more thing, because I'm sure like a lot of people that made it this far into the episode, maybe they're still like, well, it might be good for other people, but not me. But what I want you to kind of go over, there are a lot of charlatans and fakes and stuff like that. What are some of the red flags to
Mm,
look for? Because I know once I was online and somebody's like, "Do you want a reading?" I'm like, "Sure." And they're like, "Okay, PayPal me this much," and then I did. Like I was thinking about it, I didn't do it, but like I know I would never see that money again, or they would give me some bogus thing that would
yes.
be not anything relevant. And so what can we do to protect ourselves? And definitely I know you as a person. I know like your spirit, like you're very passionate about what you do. But for the average person that doesn't know you, how can you gain that trust? But more importantly, what can we look out for, like people that are trying to scam or just use it as, let's just use vague things to get this person to commit. Like, what are some things that we should look for, like for all the empaths and highly sensitive people, so they can get more confidence?
I love this. So a good medium is going to be very honest with their human side, right? So someone that's overselling, right? Like I lie, I've cheated, I eat meat. Like
How
someone
dare you?
who's like, I know, well, exactly, right? But like someone who's out there like trying to be too perfect, you got to stay away from it. Mediums come in all shapes and sizes. We're not perfect. We're not angels. And anybody who claims that they're any kind of a better than anybody else, then that's the biggest red flag possible, right? We're not any different than anybody else. We all have gifts, right? Whether we're a librarian, whether we're a maintenance worker. So that's a red flag. Also, anything fear-based is a red flag. So I work with love and light. I have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of readings. I have never had anything fear-based. I might have a message that comes from tough love, like, hey, you need to exercise more. I'm hearing that you need to, get on the trails more, but it never comes from fear. And so that's another thing. If anybody's using sales tactics, about fear, right? The end of the world is coming, right? Or, you need this or else this is happening.
Or
like
like something bad, like health wise, like you're going to get sick. That's a red flag. Why would someone scare the crap out of someone?
Absolutely. Oh yes. No, absolutely not.
Unless you pay me this much money.
Code. Oh yeah. Oh right. Pay me this money, and then I'll do this little spell.
Yeah,
right? And then I'll
you're
cure
not going to be
that.
sick anymore. That's a red flag.
That's a red flag for sure. And again, important language for you to understand. I'm an evidential medium, so within 5 minutes, you're going to know if I'm a fake or not, because I'm going to give you enough evidence where you're like, holy crap, like she's got Uncle Bob here, right? I'm going to be able to say, I have a tall man here. He's wearing a flannel shirt. He's telling me he worked with his hands, and I feel like he lived on a coast. So it feels like he was really next to the water and he liked to fish. Do you know who this is? And then someone's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's Uncle Bob. And so it's not me saying, I have a spirit here, and they said that they love you very much, right? That's a red flag. That's no. So you're looking for evidence is really what you're looking for. And if you are skeptical, and if it's not enough, you can just say, okay, I think it's someone I know. Can you give me more? Because then what usually happens is I'll be able to get those special memories that maybe if you're worried if I will do or something like that. I didn't. I'm not very tech savvy, but that nobody else would know. Like I had a reading yesterday, and my client had a book collection from her dad that deceased, and that came in. I said, books. He's telling me that he left you lots and lots of books, and that was her like, oh wow, you wouldn't know that. Like that's nowhere to be found anywhere. That's private. That's personal, right? So evidence is a big one too. But like anything, go to a reputable spot for your medium, right? If a friend refers you, obviously, if like kind of what we're doing today, right? You listen to the podcast, that we know each other, and just trust. And then same thing, right? I mean, money's important, right? I mean, if somebody's charging, $2,000 for this half hour, right? And then this, it's like, okay, no, that doesn't feel
red
right.
flag.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so transparent, because I know like some people, they don't like answering that, or, things like that. You were very upfront. And so before we end this, I do want to ask you, you have a quote that really spoke to me. You said, we are not our past and anything is possible. Why do you have that at the bottom of all of your stuff, your emails and stuff? What does that mean to you? And can you explain that to the audience?
Yeah. We are not our past. Selfishly, I feel like it's for me. Like it's this reminder for me because, even though I'm well into my 30s and well established, intuitive coach, business professor, mom, dog mom, cat mom, like the list goes on and on. I feel like I'm still this child that like this me that has imposter syndrome, this me that feels small, this me that feels scared from, my hard past is still there. And I always have to remind myself, I'm like, no, like it's, the past doesn't determine the future, right? Anything is possible. We co-create with the universe. So it's there for me, and it's there for others, because I know others really need that reminder too, that whatever has happened to you, whatever you caused, right? Like it's a learning opportunity. It doesn't define where you're going or where you're going to be. And I feel like my life, especially, I can look at so many past things of, okay, I'm going to do this and then this is going to happen, or yikes, this happened to me, so this isn't. And that's not true. Once you believe in yourself and have the hard conversations and put in the healing work, I genuinely, it's not even a belief. I genuinely know it's my truth that anything is possible, and the universe is there helping us.
And you're just a valuable tool. So I want to let everyone that, that's listening, all the empaths, highly sensitive people, like, you have to do the work yourself. You're not just going to go to Dr. Danielle and be like, okay, tell me my life and what's going to happen in the future. It doesn't work that way in the real life. You have to be every day doing the work, looking at your authentic self, making goals, journaling, like she said, and then you can go to her as a extra kind of tool where she can provide you just more confidence, more energy, and guide you towards the right way. And I think we need more people like you in this world, especially with so much going on. Even just the reassurance factor, that could do huge on the mind, because how we think, as we know, the thought is so powerful. And if you can think a certain way, it will happen. And I'm living proof of it. I mean, I started with nothing. Like, even with this podcast, I had like an old computer in this little shop, and I was doing like one episode, and I wasn't sure if I even wanted to. Now it's like over 120, 30 episodes, and now I'm expanding, I'm coaching, and I have great guests like you on here that are high profile guests that really know what they're doing and talking about, but you also care about people. And I think that's a main factor that if anyone's looking for a, medium, look for their motives, look if they're really caring and asking about you, and not going for just generalities where they're like, oh, I since you have like a relationship issue, well, guess what, we all have relationship issues, tell me something I don't know. So when you guys do check someone out, ask the right questions. And so that's what I love about the work that you're doing, and I think you're going to change the world. I really do. And that's why I wanted you specifically on this elite series, because I feel like you bring something genuine, and the stuff that you've been through in your life, that in itself puts you in elite status. So I want to thank you so much for being a part of this elite series. And like I said, we handpicked these, guests because you have something to offer to the world that's going to change, not just today, but in the future. And I feel that you're going to be going places. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Raj, sincerely, and thank you as well. It takes a village, and
Yeah.
here we are, and light attracts light, and you keep on to it's a fight right now. There's some dark out there,
Yeah.
and
World is changing.
we're gonna keep fighting, and we're gonna
Mhm.
keep bringing the light out. So thank you for all
Yeah.
the hard work that you're doing to unite us all,
Yeah.
right? Because we're together we can do anything.
Yeah.
Together we are doing it.
And my audience knows I'm a microphone. That's my goal here. I'm here to amplify the amazing people on this planet, and you are one of them. And so I create a platform so you can, tell the world what you do and how you can help them. I'm just a person that in the background who gets a passion from seeing other people. I'd much rather have somebody who has nothing to getting something, where somebody's given everything and then they get more. Like, I love those comeback stories, and you're basically a picture perfect of that. Like, you've been through a lot, and now you're so successful, and you're helping people, and so I'm very honored. And I do feel like we cross paths, because you came into my life when I was going through a lot too, with different things in my life, and you put perspective on that. So that's why I can kind of vouch for you as well, that you did have that reassurance, which helped me totally. So with that said, I wanted to keep the best for last. So if you guys made it to this part of the episode, we're going to give you a little treat. I'm going to let Danielle explain to you what it is. And if you want to give her a shot, I highly recommend it. Danielle, I'm going to leave it to you.
Thank you. Well, an invitation. Please check out my website. It's drdanielleclark.com. So it's drdanielleclark.com. I have a weekly blog. It's my baby. If you're looking to just move onwards, break self-judgment habits, tap into your intuition, I share personal stories and bloopers from my life and affirmations and writing problems. So I'd love you to be a part of the blog. But the real special gift is I would love to connect and see what magic we can create together. You can book an appointment with me on my website. And I have created a special coupon for $15 off our first session. And Raj, you're going to get a kick out of this. The coupon
Tell them the name
code.
of the coupon code.
The
I feel so
coupon
honored.
code
Tell them.
is Raj. So the
Oh
coupon
yes,
code
my
is
first
Raj. It's
coupon code name.
RAJ, right? You're moving up in the world.
Oh
So
my gosh, that's so
it's
like
RAJ for $15 off. And it's
yes.
just special for me to know where you came from. So it'll be nice to connect and know that you found me, through this really special experience. So everything's on drdanielleclark.com. You can read more about me and my story. I have past podcast episodes there too. So as Raj mentioned, I was on before talking about trauma-based imposter syndrome. So if that's a topic that interests you, you can listen to my old episode.
That one did very well, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good one. That one's powerful. Yeah, that
felt
one's
it.
needed. Yeah, that's like woo. So lots of stuff there. But again, yes, coupon code for $15 off your session with me. It's Raj, and I'd love to connect. And just drop me a note if you have any questions, or if you want to better understand how I work. Any friend of Raj is a friend of mine, so feel free to just reach out.
Yes, it's such an honor to have you, and I will come and visit you. I promise you one day.
Yes,
Maybe just for a couple days.
The
So.
river walk. We'll get our steps in. We'll get some coffee.
Get some exercise.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. So guys, definitely check her out. She's the real deal. Let me know how it goes. Reach out to me after you try her out and be like, hey, this was my experience. And I will put that on my social media. So I want to hear from you guys, my coaching clients. Definitely check her out because I know a lot of you guys have questions but you're kind of scared to make the next step. Use the code and give her a shot. So with that said, Danielle, I'd love to collaborate in the future. I have a bunch of other projects coming, so I'm sure you'll be part of it, and you're always welcome back in the future.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you. I'll make sure I talk to you soon, and I'll circle back in a few weeks too and let you know what's cooking on my end. Something tells me I'm going to be connecting with a lot of people who really need it, and that makes me really, really happy. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Keep it up. All right, guys, we are on light speed. Got tons of more guests coming on this week. So definitely stay tuned. Always keep moving forward. If you guys need coaching, I have 2 openings left. Give me a contact on the bio below. All the show notes will be in the below if you want to contact Danielle. So with that said, always keep moving forward. And we are out.